Hello everyone. So this is the continuous part of the our functional programming paradigm videos. In the previous video, I have talked about mainly about these functions are first class citizens, pure functions, and state is immutable. So let me go over one more time so that we can uh, kind of start from the beginning and review like from the last weekend that what I taught you. So functions are first class citizen. What does it mean? Well, how variables are treated, like for example we can create them like we can create variables, we can store them, we can pass them in a functions, and we can even return them, we can change them, we can do anything with them, right? So these are the kind of what do you call them, like powers if you want to call it, that variables have. So we want to give these same things or same like access to functions also, like what I was, like I said, power. So you can say that functions are also treated as like variables, like we can create the functions, we can store these functions, we can return the functions, and we can even pass the functions as a parameters into another functions. So that's what it means to be first class citizens in programming language. So that rule should be followed in functional programming. And pure functions I will talk to you about a little bit, but as its name suggests that it should be pure, meaning there should not be like multiple things going on in one function. Their function should be just one thing doing at a time. And state is immutable, meaning inside the function we should not manipulate the state uh, from outside. So that's what it means. So state is immutable. So let's do practice with them, and let's see. So I have opened my Visual Studio Code. Inside I have created this main.js. So let's start from the beginning. State is immutable. First thing first. So what does it mean to be is immutable? Well, our goal is to not manipulate the state inside the functions. So what it means, like for example, let's say I have created a let state. Let me just take this name, and it's 0 from right now. And I have built a function add number. Okay, and I do this state plus is equal to 10. I just do it. So what am I currently doing is I'm mutating the state, that this state is from the outside, and I'm updating it. So if I log here state, and if I run this program, as you can see, but first I need to call this function, right? Because without that it's not going to work. So what is going to happen is that first it will create the state variable which will store 0, and then I've created this function which is like updating the adding the 10 into the state. So state is currently 0, so if I add 10 to it, then it will become 10. I call this method, it will be perform is whatever it's doing, and then I'm logging it. That's all. So it should print 10, right? So node and main. Yes, it is printing 10. But as I said, in functional programming, we don't do it. We don't update the like mutate the state. Instead, what we do is we take the state as input and we return it. Return state plus 10. So we don't or mutate the original state. Instead, what we will do is now we will store that return value inside updated state here, and I will log this variable. So I will log both of them, state and also updated state. So now in the state you see that it will not change the original state which is like 0. So it will keep that same, but we have added the 10, and then we store that into the updated state variable, and this number will return the updated state. Okay, and I'm trying logging in. So first will come 0, then 10. Sorry, I have passed the state inside that. 0 and 10, which is what's supposed to happen. So we focus on this kind of like if this approach, basically whenever we need to change the state, we don't actually update the actual from the outside. We take it as input, and we try to create the new copy of it or return it, or For example, now you might say that okay, this is just a variable, so we get it. But what about a reference type? Like for example, if there was an object and then inside the object we were performing something and we passed as a reference, then what we should do? Sometime we need to change it, right? Well, this is not a forbidden rule that you cannot change it, but we generally don't prefer it. We try to avoid it. So that's rule number one. And second thing is, as I said, first class citizen, as you might have guessed by now, it's like same. For example, I can do this. Let say hello, and I can build this function, and it will say log uh, hi. That's it, and I can call this method because what I did inside the JavaScript, it allows you to, you can do this like this way also. You can create functions like this also. You can store the, like this is just a variable and it's called anonymous function. So now you are storing the anonymous function inside the say hello variable, and we can call this variable because it's a function, and because of first class function property it is, and because of the first class citizen property, we can call them and it will print. If I run it, you will say hi. It is only possible because of JavaScript allows it. All right, so we can do this, and also I can do this like I can create another function, I can pass that function inside this function. So for example, let me just take it this say hello, and I will create another function. It will take a function, so I will name that function. We can name it anything, but I will just take function func, and inside function another function I will call this function func1, and another function I'm calling it. So I will pass this say hello. What am I doing? I have created two functions. First say hello, then second another function, and inside another function I am taking as a function as an input parameter, and I am calling it inside this another function. Another function. Now when I'm calling another function, I need to pass. So I'm passing the reference of this function. So it will pass it here, say hello go will inside func variable, and then I'm calling it. So basically what I'm doing is another inside another function I'm calling say hello function. So it should print hi. And if I run it, it is printing hi. And let me just show you. I should print one more thing. Here I will call it another the function, and after that it will print because another function will get called, okay, and it is taking say hello as a input parameter. So this function will run. First line what it does, it prints another function, great, and then it calls the say hello function, which is this function, and what it does, it also print hi. So first will get printed another function, then hi will get printed. Here we go, another function, and hi, it's printing. So this is what we mean when we say first class citizen, and how we can store them in function, or pass them, call them, return. We can even return the functions. By now you might have guessed it, right? So that's it. And what else there is left? We talked about pure function, meaning like for example here, as I created, now this function is pure function, considered a pure function because it only dependent on the input, because we know inside there's no manipulation is going on. Whatever the input we are giving, it is performing some calculation or some operation on that, and it's returning the path. So it's considered as a pure function. Okay, so we should follow that practice. And as I said, these are just considered like for small applications. If you are building it, you can build something like that. Because of this first class citizen, we can have concept called higher order function, which you like might have read about it inside the JavaScript. It already exists. Like map, reduce, filter, these are the perfect example of higher order function. We can create complicated logic using them, and we can build applications basically. But these are some what do you call them, like base rules. And again, this is not just function programming. Like these are not the only rules of functional programming. We should follow them because it's kind of it's abstracted basically, and we can write clean code because now this pure functions, idea of pure function, we can test them easily. And we kind of like we can write a predictable software which will know that uh, that and functions are not there to mutate states. So we know that some unexpected behavior will not happen, most probably, but sometimes we need to change some states, so we can change it, but it should not be encouraged. Like it only do once when you are like confident, like it needs to happen and there's no other way of doing it. That's when only you should do it. And yeah, these are not only rule. Other there are some like there are literally like so many books on functional programming, so you can read about them. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of overview, basic overview of like this thing also exists. So you might want to try it. So from that point of view, I'm teaching you that, and I hope you like it. And I will see you in the next video.